Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video, which is indeed filmed back to back to the previous one, hence same everything. In the spring of last year, 2023, I uploaded this video in which I tried to find out my color season through an online test, an online quiz, where you used a little dropper to pick up your eye color and your hair color and your skin color. That quiz told me that I was a classic winter and it gave me this palette, which I used for a video to dress according to that palette for a week from clothes I already had in my wardrobe. However, I knew already back then that I wanted to go do an in-person analysis because they are a lot more reliable. And when I read up on the winter palette, especially the classic winter palette, I read that you're supposed to have a lot of contrast in your features. And while I am very pale, I do not have particularly dark hair, and thus not a lot of contrast between the two. So I figured something was maybe a little bit off. So I already back then knew that I wanted to book an in-person consultation, and I managed to book one in January this year. I managed to book one for May. Now I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to the place I went to, which is the Color Insight. It's in Stockholm. It's run by Åsa, who was very, very sweet and had a very good experience when I was there. The reason I booked so far out, the reason I booked in January for May, was because I don't live in Stockholm. It's a few hours away from me, and I couldn't get an appointment on a random Tuesday. It had to be a weekend, and it had to be a weekend when I was also available. So I did have to book quite far in advance, but she does definitely have times closer in time, usually, when I have checked. So I had my analysis in the middle of May. We're now coming up on the middle of July as of me filming this, and it's taken me a while to ruminate on this and actually sit down to make this video. Now, right off the bat, I want to say that I did have a very, very good experience. She was very knowledgeable. She described the differences. If I couldn't really see what was happening, you know, she could tell me what she saw and why and how. And it was a really good experience. However, and this is no fault of hers, I was very disappointed with my palette. So back before I made the video back last year, just looking at the palettes, and I know there are 12 palettes, but just looking at like 4 spring, summer, fall, and winter, or autumn, I suppose, I am much more drawn to the spring and autumn palettes than I am winter and summer. However, I knew that I probably would be a winter or summer because I have very cool undertones. That's something that I have known, you know, even if I didn't know where to slot myself in to the different palettes. So I went from thinking I have a cool undertone to getting a classic winter last year to in person getting a true summer palette, which I'll put on the screen for you right now. The contrast between this and the winter palette is pretty extreme to me. And when I got my palette, which I have here, and I'm going to show you in a bit more detail, I looked at it and I was like, I have nothing in my wardrobe that matches any of these colors. And that was a little bit disheartening, I guess, and a little bit surprising. I am not going to throw out my entire wardrobe and everything that doesn't fit my palette and just get new things that fit. That's not my intention here. I'm going to wear whatever I like and get whatever I like and keep whatever I like. But it was just so funny to me that I'd been so wrong. Now, I don't necessarily care about the color analysis in the way of this is the end all be all, this is all I can do, all I can wear. I am still a firm believer that if I really love this hot pink pair of pants, but I have hot pink nowhere in my palette, I'll still keep wearing the hot pink pair of pants because they give me joy, you know, I really enjoy wearing them. But I wanted to make this video and just see what I have in my wardrobe that actually fits. I'm not sure I'm going to go through every single item. I also do have some things in the wash. I'm not going to go digging through that to get more items to check, but it's very, very limited. Now, one of my biggest disappointments with the palette, apart from the fact that it doesn't have very bright colors in it, which I really like bright colors, and I'm thinking then like hot pink and like cobalt blue and a clear hot yellow. It's not hot, but like clear yellow. Apart from there not being any bright colors, my other biggest disappointment with this was that I do not have white in my palette. And in case you didn't know, white button downs are about like 20% of my fashion identity. I love them so much, I wear them year round. This is one, for example. But the closest my palette gets to white is this top beige. And as you can see, they are not the same. I am wearing a clear, bright white shirt, and that ain't it. But what I will say is that this dress, which is new to me, I did not have this in my wardrobe when I made my color analysis, when I did the analysis. I think this dress is actually fitting. I think this color, can you see this? I think that this color is a very, very good match. Now, what she said was that you don't have to find this an exact color in this and only wear that, because this is like 65 colors and there are obviously many more varieties out there of colors I could wear, but rather, is it harmonious? If you put this fan on a piece of clothing, on a paint color, on whatever, is it harmonious? And again, I think that this dress really works. I think I have that pink that I just showed you. Now, I was going to say that I also have greens in the dress that I have on this, but that is actually not true now that I see it in daylight. The green is wrong, and there are white flowers, so that's also wrong. But still, I think this is pretty harmonious, and especially since the base color of the dress matches the color fan, I think it's fine. So I'm going to take you along and go through at least some of my clothes. I have these two clothing racks, and I have a dresser behind me with some clothes in some drawers that are mine, and just see if we find anything. I have a couple of ideas. I can think of like 2-3 pieces that I do think I have the color matches for, and just see how wrong I am, or how off I have been in what I've been wearing and what this says I should wear. And let's take it from there. Okay, so in order to do this in the best way, I cannot hold this and the phone and the clothes. So I'm going to try if I can put this down in the front of my dress and see if it will be held in place like that, and still hopefully record good audio. Hopefully there won't be any like rustling sounds, and hopefully it will still work fine. So since I don't have any white on this fan, I'm just going to skip over my entire white section, or the pure white section. I have a couple pieces I want to talk about, and then these racks go through. This one goes through pink, or usually purple. I have my purple item in the wash right now. I own apparently one that I hang here, and then over on the other clothing rack I have blues and greens and greys and black. So let's start here. In the drawers I have a few other things that we'll get to eventually. But yes, let's look at this. Okay, so like I said, we're skipping over all of the white, which means I'll also skip over the partial white, like the white with patterns on it, because their base is still lighter than this one color that I have here. Okay, this looks so weird. But if I pick up this shirt, which is a floral, short-sleeved, slightly oversized shirt that I wear a lot in summer, it's not white. The base is sort of a beigey color, but it's not quite there. It's lighter than this, but I think it might still be in the right family of colors. We do have some blue, which is a lot lighter than the light blues I have. Doesn't quite go. And then if we go to my pinks, I can't work this very well. If we go to my pinks, which I have a lot of, that I'm really happy with. I think we have sort of half matches, but then we have the yellow, and one of my qualms with this, not that I'm a huge yellow wearing person, these two colors at the very end are my yellows according to this this fan itself. These to me are not yellow. Now I will say in general that the colors might not be picking up true to color on camera or on your computer screen, so bear that in mind, but these are not yellow to my eye in natural sunlight. They are like a light lime kind of color, and this is obviously a yellow. So I'm gonna say no, even though some of them are close-ish. Now I do have two brown outfits, and like I've said in previous videos, I'm not huge on wearing the color brown. It's just not a color I've been drawn to really ever, but I have two pieces. And this being the first one, it's a warm brown, and it's a nice color. Like, I really like this brown color, but I said the key word warm, didn't I? I don't have any warm on this fan because I am cool, and this is the closest one, but it's definitely not close. Definitely not close. This blazer, I would say, is a cooler toned brown, but we're not really there. This lighting is not doing me any favors. Like, if this was a little bit darker, we might be there, but the one at the bottom here is not it. Now, I have acquired a bit of beige over the past few years, which is a shock to me because grey and black is what I'm drawn to when it comes to those kinds of neutrals, not beige and brown, but here we are. I have 4 beige pieces here. I just want to run through real quick. I might have something. First, we have this dress I really like. It's like a midi, just past the knee kind of length dress. Linen, very soft, very, very nice. And if we look here, it's not quite it though, is it? That one is too yellowy, a little bit grayish, and this is a bit too saturated, I think. I have this button down, which is very similar, but a little bit cooler. I wouldn't say that one's horrible. I really wouldn't say that one's horrible. This is actually the dress I wore when I had the analysis done. And this one is not super far off, all things considered. It's not exactly it, but it's close-ish. And I can tell, even though I'm no expert in this, I can tell from a mile away that this skirt just ain't it. There's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing there. Now, one of the things when you are a cooled tone person is that you have no orange in your palettes at all. I think that's the only color that doesn't exist in the cool palettes, whereas all cool colors do exist in some version in the warm palettes. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But because of that, I'm not going to check this skirt, and I'm not going to check this skirt because they both have orange in them. And like, the other colors on this aren't it either, even though it's a lovely skirt. Next we have a dress which has some blues, has some purples, has some yellowy oranges in it, and as we know, these are my yellows, which is not it. So no. How about my favorite dress then? This is it. This is my favorite dress. Also has orange in it, but let's ignore the orange and just look at the other colors. So let's look at the beige. I think we have a pretty good beige match. It has pure white and black, which does not exist in my palette. And then we have some pinky tones over here, which that could maybe be a match. This one down here, but not entirely sure. And then purples and blues. I don't have any of those purples. The blues I might be able to find. When it comes to the blue, greeny blue, I might have something for it, but the purple is definitely not my purples. Now I'm gonna skip some things because I don't have any like pure, clean, clear red in my palette. However, this skirt is sort of a dusty kind of color, which is the way I would describe these colors is that they are slightly dirty, which is a shame, but either way, do we have a match here? No, we really do not. We really do not. Okay, moving on. We're skipping over the bright red. We are, sadly, skipping over the bright pink, of which I have much. And honorable mention to this skirt that I have, which I really like, which has the hot pink. It has a softer pink in it as well. And then it has grey. The greys are almost on point. Like, this second grey matches pretty well. I'm sorry about the lighting, but that goes pretty well. However, I do not have this kind of hot pink at all in my palette. And the faded versions of the pink on the skirt, questionable. Questionable. Closer than I thought it was going to be, but no cigar. This dress, however, which I mentioned in my previous video, I have not worn yet this year, it might not be that bad. I didn't say it was bad in the video before, but if we fan out all of my pinks, maybe, or maybe it's just wishful thinking because I do love pink. Okay, moving on to the blue, green, grey and black section of my hanging clothes. I am sad to say that I don't really have any good color matches for denim. Like, there is obviously a denim that works for me, but none of these are really close to any of the denim that I have. So I'm going to skip the entire denim section, or like blue denim section at least. This shirt I think could maybe work, but I don't have it like a perfect match for it on the little fan here. But that first one
It's a little bluer and the shirt is a little bit more turquoisey green. But it doesn't look horrible. Okay, this dress is surprising me. It has a turquoisey kind of color, it has a bit of yellow, we'll ignore that, and the hot pink. But if we look at this bluey purpley color that I've never been able to place really, look at this color right, right there. Maybe, right? Maybe I'm just seeing things, maybe it's wishful thinking. As for blue, I don't really have a great match, but the one on the end on this one is not terrible. I'm gonna skip ahead and not do everything because I only have limited time and you have limited attention. So let's move on to this dress. This is a clear blue dress, which is not a color I have at all. This is much clearer than what I have. It doesn't look awful on camera, but in person it really does not match. And the greens I have are more turquoisey, I'd say, than this clear green. So it's a no. Do I need to tell you that this is a no? This is in no way my colors, but it's a lovely piece. Now here we have something I think might actually work. It looks so wrong on camera, but I have this faint like sage greeny kind of shirt. This is a lot brighter, but oh, it's really not coming up right on camera. We'll see how it looks when I edit it. This I think could actually be in my colors. You cannot tell on camera at all. But I thought I was going to have a good match for this. Perhaps I was wrong. This feels like it would work because this is kind of a dull, dirty kind of color, but oops. And then just doing a quick look at my black and gray section. We're not it. It's not it. It's just not. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Again, I'm not gonna chuck out my clothes and get new ones because it doesn't match my color profile in this. But even so, it's a bit disappointing from what I want or wanted my color profile to be and what it actually is. Again, through no fault of the analysis herself. Like, she did her job. She did what I asked for. I just wanted brighter, happier colors, didn't I? Let's quickly, before I run out of space, try to look in some of the drawers and see if I find anything there. Okay, so I'm not going to pull anything out of the drawers because that feels like too much work for me right now. But that could maybe be a match for here. Not perfectly. Again, the green is way off. The blue is way off. It's not showing up great on camera, but it doesn't match any of these. And then I have a dark navy, which I don't have. I have pure white, which I don't have. This pink is in no way any of the pinks that I have here at all. Yeah, and I have a yellow. I have a light yellow cardigan back here, which I wore in that dressing according to my false color season video. Yeah, this is not showing up at all. But again, these are like dark lime, dirty lime colors. Nowhere near that. And at the bottom here, I keep coming back to hot pink pants, don't I? And that ain't it. None of those are the right color, which also then goes for my axolotl trousers. And these ones, I got this here. Secondhand, like everything else in my wardrobe. We have mustard, which I don't have. We have orange, which I don't have. We have a forest green, which I do not have. We have a red that is much brighter than the red of my dress, and not any of these colors. And again, a navy, and a pink, and a beige. I mean, the beige is probably the closest match I have. Yeah, they're not really they're not really working for my color season, are they? As for sweaters, this is a bit of an awkward angle, but this is one I think might be a match. And I have a dress that goes with this that is currently in the wash. And let's just see. Yeah, somewhere there. We're not entirely off. So that and the dress that goes with it, I'd say match my color season. And then potentially this shirt that I showed before, which I also have worn with that same dress. See if I have better lighting over here this time. I don't. And I do not have a good color match, do I? I do not. So I'm not going to rumble through any more of my clothes, but I don't really have a lot of matches, do I?
Okay, so as a summary, after having gone through some of the items in my wardrobe, definitely not all of them, I was correct in that I do not have a lot of items that match my color fan situation thing. I am not disappointed by it because I'm not going to solely dress according to this, though it would have been nice if I was already in the right direction with my clothes. However, I love those hot pink linen trousers, not getting rid of them, not gonna not wear them. I love my white button downs, I'm not gonna not wear those. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing and just have this as a memento. No, but have this and just see. I'm not gonna not use it, I'm not gonna not keep it, but I'm not gonna go around looking for, oh, I want something that is my kind of blue, and then going around trying to match it. I'm just gonna keep being, as far as I'm aware, as far as I know, I'm just gonna keep being like, oh, I like that, and that's a nice shade of blue, even if it's not on here. Such is my intention. I would love to hear down below if you think that this is actually a good color match for me. There were some disagreements in my online one. I know one person said I was probably a soft spring, I think. There was at least one spring palette that was name dropped, so I don't know. I do think that this is true and real and accurate because it was an in-person reading and cameras and lighting and screens and all that a bit inaccurate. But I would love to hear that down below, and also if you dress according to your color analysis or not. And what your favorite color is, because that's always nice. My favorite color is definitely pink, like a nice hot pink, but not leaning bubblegum. That's not my favorites. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon, so I hope to see you then. Bye!